J. Smith says, brother, why was the Prophet squeezed 3 times and asked to read by an angel?
He wasn't. This wasn't some sort of WWE match. Jibrael never squeezed the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
In every holy book, the revelation came through Angel Jibrael, Angel Gabriel. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not a man who could read or write.
Our Prophet was not illiterate. He could read and he could write, but I've already discussed his literacy in a previous video.
He said to him, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaqa.
Okay, if you're going to stop at the end of the verse, you don't pronounce the last harakat. So you're not going to say khalaqa and then stop. If you say khalaqa, then you need to carry on with the next verse. If you're going to stop like you did, then it's khalaq. That's it.
خلق الإنسان من علقة.
Alaqa? It's literally tanween kasra. There's no fatah there. And then again, if you're going to stop, it's alaq. That's it. That's 2 verses of the Quran you've recited and you've already made 2 mistakes. And Sunnis claim they know the Quran, yeah?
This was the first words ever revealed of the Quran. This is what happened when Angel Jibril came to the Prophet Muhammad sallam.
Say sallam. What say sallam? At the least you can do is at least recite the salutations upon the Prophet correctly. Sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. At least.
In Cave Hira, by the will of Allah. When the Prophet Muhammad sallam was told by Angel Jibril, by the will of Allah, read. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, I'm not one who reads. So the angel squeezed him and said, Iqra.
He did not say that. And no, the angel did not squeeze him. And also squeezing an illiterate person doesn't automatically make that person literate, okay?
The Prophet Muhammad said, I'm not one who reads. Read what? So the angel squeezed him again. And then he was told, Iqra, read, recite.
Now, firstly, the Quran doesn't mention anything about Jibrael squeezing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi. Secondly, the Quran in chapter 53, Surah Najm, verse number 5, says he was taught by one mighty in power. Revelation is divinely inspired, not forced. And then the Quran in chapter 21, verse number 107 says that the Prophet was what? وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He was sent as a mercy to the worlds. So how can the first encounter for this mercy to the worlds be a physical violence? And Jibrael isn't aggressive or harsh. The Quran in chapter 81 verses 19 to 21 says that Jibrael is noble and he's trustworthy. He's not an aggressive angel. And this story can only be found in a solitary report, ahad, meaning what? Only one narrator. And guess who? Go on, Choti Ammi, Aisha. Surprise, surprise, right? This story can only be found from Aisha. It's narrated within Sahih al-Bukhari, as you can see here. And it says what? Aisha narrated that the Prophet said that the Jibrail squeezed me. Now, first point is this narration is not mass transmitted, so it's not mutawatir. Secondly, it's only narrated by Aisha, who wasn't even a Muslim at the time of this incident, and she wasn't even present in the cave. Then on top of that, later scholars of Ahl Sunnah such as Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani in his Fathul Bari, fi Sharh Sahih Bukhari, commenting on this narration from Aisha, he says it's a metaphorical squeeze, not a physical one. And then Ghazali says in his Kitab Ulumuddin that it was a visionary incident, not a physical one. And Al-Kafi mentions that the Prophet ﷺ was ready and was expecting Jibrail, and mentions nothing about the squeezing. Now this is Surah Alaq chapter 96 verse number 1. We're going to look at 3 commentaries of the Quran. First one here, Tafsir Burhan fi Tafsir al-Quran by Allama Hashim Bahrani. It says that Imam Baqir alayhi salam said Jibrail descended upon the Prophet ﷺ and said, read. And the Prophet ﷺ said, what should I read? He didn't say, I can't read. He didn't say, I'm illiterate. He just said, what should I read? Jibrail then said, read in the name of the Lord who created you. So, Nazala Jibrailu ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, faqala ya Muhammad ikra. O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, read. And then it says what? Qala wa ma akrahu. What do you want me to read? Qala ikra bismi rabbika alladhi khalq. Read in the name of your Lord who created. So there's no mention of the squeezing and there's no mention of the illiteracy. Tafsir Safi fi Kalamullah al-Wafi by Allama Faith Kashani. Again, on the authority of Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, Jibrael said to the Prophet, read. The Prophet said, what should I read? Jibrael said, read in the name of your Lord who created. Tafsir Kummi, Abu Ja'far alayhi salam said, the Jibrael said to the Prophet, read. Jibrael said this, and the Prophet replied, what should I read? And he said, read in the name of your Lord who created. So, number one, the Prophet was not illiterate. Number two, he didn't get scared when he saw Jibrael. Number three, Jibrael didn't squeeze the Prophet. Number four, squeezing doesn't make you literate. And number five, the Prophet ﷺ in our books was expecting to see Jibrael, was happy when he saw Jibrael. Jibrael said, recite. The Prophet said, what do you want me to recite? So stop degrading the Prophet. And on top of that, Christians have already refuted and stitched your videos where you're lying about their Bible and their passages and misquoting things from their passages. Now on top of that, you're misquoting the Quran. And then on top of that, you're misquoting the Hadith as well. Come on, bro.
اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam